there's always a few disgusting things, and some of them would overlap with some of my later stories. I'm trying to think.
So you say
How
this.
about how about a forgotten enema on white carpet in a mansion in Malibu?
Let's do it. Welcome to Real Vegas Podcast. We have an absolute legend in the adult entertainment industry today. A man, he's been in the game for over 25 years. I think he's seen it all. He's done it all. And nothing is off limits today. Please welcome to Real Vegas Podcast, Sir Thom Moore. How you doing, Tom?
Princess Wave.
The Princess Wave?
Princess Wave. We're doing Princess Wave today.
All right. You've seen it all. Is there something on set that you still can't believe happened on set?
And that's more one of those things where you have to narrow it down. The only person I've ever known that could top my stories in general from on set was somebody who worked at 911. And she would come home. I think I'd have a real doozy, and she'd come home and blow me away. But, God, I'm trying to think. There's always a few disgusting things, and some of them would overlap with some of my later stories. I'm trying to think.
So you say this.
How about a forgotten enema on white carpet in a mansion in Malibu?
Okay, we'll leave that. We can leave that to the viewer's imagination. So basically, they needed to call the carpet cleaners that day, and
Right before we left, yes.
Oh.
So 2 hours down the hill, carpet cleaners, multiple, and this was like we were told this was like some $20,000 carpet, of course.
So what do you? When something like that happens, does that scratch the whole set? Does that scratch? the
No,
whole
no,
scene?
hell no.
Can
We finished the scene. We
Okay.
just,
Things just got a little
you got
messy.
to persevere. You got to persevere. You got to get through. The show must go on.
The show must go on. And people who know you, and when I met you, you've always been behind the camera, but I think some people don't know that you started out in front of the camera
20 years.
20 years ago.
Well, no, not 20 years ago, but I did for 20 years.
So do you miss being in front of the camera?
Sure. Sometimes it's a lot of fun when you get to work with somebody that you really enjoy. Sometimes even just one of your really good friends can be a lot, just because when it's your fuck buddy, you get to really have a good time, and you don't take it all too seriously. And actually, sometimes that's when you get your best acting, because you're really just letting yourself go. Sometimes getting to play a really interesting character can be fun, especially the one that you know me for. Boy, we acted a total fool.
So what he's referring to is when I was first introduced to Tom, you were the tranny hunter.
We're not allowed to say that anymore. It's trans.
Okay, so
I'm just kidding.
That was going to be my follow up. So we're going back. The tranny hunter was what, late '90s, early 2000s.
Yes, exactly.
So back in that day, it wasn't really looked at as derogatory.
No. The correct terms have evolved over the years, and at the time, I think that was considered the more polite term, evolving from she-male or other things.
We used to call them chicks with dicks.
Yeah, we really try to avoid that. That's not PC these days.
It's not PC. So I mean, why do you think that is? Because some trans I've met, they don't look at it as derogatory, but then some do.
Yeah, and a lot of them use those terms themselves.
Yes.
And I guess that's much like the N-word or something. If you are whoever you are, you can use that when it comes to or referring to yourself. But for some people, hurts their feelings. Their struggle is significantly harder than almost anybody's. You really have to want it, need it, desire it. It is you to put yourself through what they go through. So I try to show a little respect.
Respect. So basically what you're saying is, like, have black people have the N-word, trans get the tranny or the she-male word, but if you're not in that category, it's be respectful and just don't use
Be
it.
respectful, use the word trans or transgendered or something of that nature. Sure. It's just be respectful towards one another.
Exactly. I guess I can respect that. I catch myself saying the old terms all the time.
I do too, and I catch myself, and I'm like,
in fact, I was on set with you one time when I said the word tranny, and one of the assistant guys told me I was going to trigger him because I was using a horrible slang. And I just thought, who is this?
God, I can't think who that was.
Who's this little
Most
guy?
of them are pretty. Oh, well, he was from the other, female to male, trans, and he's somebody that,
Oh, that was originally a chick?
yes.
Oh, I pulled it off pretty good. I thought it was a guy the whole time.
No, he looks really awesome. I think he is a cool dude. But yeah, he grew up in an area of this country that is not supportive. So those words were used with hate and anger, not in, hey,
Not in like a fun-
here's my cool little buddy
Yeah,
that happens to be whatever.
gotcha.
If it's amongst friends, that might be one thing because it's well intentioned. But when you grow up in a part of this country that is, and unfortunately these days, maybe even turning the clock back, that there are negative towards those persons that are different than themselves, whatever it may be. If you mean something with love, it'll be taken with love. If you mean something with hate or anger, that's not very good.
It's all in the tone, and that goes back to what you were saying before. At the end of the day, the safe play is just be respectful and just try not to use the term to begin with.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that makes me. So you've been in the business so long. You've worked with a lot of big names. I'm assuming you've probably met anybody from Joe Schmo to the top of the mountain. Who was one of the wildest stars that stick out to your mind you worked with, and what made the set so wild and memorable?
Damn. Okay. Again, yes.
Too many to
30.
choose?
It's been 30 years, so wild ones. There's always a few wild ones. I would say the thing that has gotten better is people tend to keep their wildness offset. Most of the people show up on set and it's wild. If you're acting wild on set, kicking you off. There's you tend to get more like the prima donna kind of situations where don't the world revolves around me is more often the situation that you have to deal with. And sometimes bringing those people back down to earth can be the struggle, but really, I've never tolerated anyone being outrageous on set. But you will get those prima donnas that think their world doesn't stink, and everybody's world stinks.
So, bottom line, wild or not wild, the set of a porn scene or an adult movie, that's work. That's it.
Absolutely.
We're at the workplace, is what you're saying. Just like any workplace, come here. We can have fun, but
Right.
be professional and don't be a jackass.
Well, exactly. One of the things that we have to, especially if we're working with somebody new that we don't know, my assistant, Big Tommy, or other people that I work with, we always say venom is our love language. We say the most horrible things to each other throughout the day, but it's because we're laughing and joking and having a good time, and we all know each other that well for that long, and that makes for a fun environment. But if somebody's sensitive or not, you may have to mention going, no, really, I love this person. It's okay.
Right.
I don't really mean what I just said to them.
I respect that. Most of my close friends, we say some pretty horrible things to each other, but it's all out of love.
Exactly. The one thing I will say to people sometimes is when the set's really quiet and everyone's just getting through it and just focusing on their job, that's when something's probably not going well.
Right.
As
Stay focused on the
right, everybody's just
task.
staying focused, doing we're here to get the job done regardless. So.
That's a good answer. I've always had a good time, but I grew up as people who know me from interviews and stuff know I've been a male entertainer for almost 20 years in Las Vegas. Even at the wild bachelorette parties and working with couples, you can have fun, but there's always some kind of professionalism you have to keep. Or what are we doing here?
Right. I've worked a few of those myself in the old days. It was the one thing I always found interesting about those comparing notes, because I would alternately bounce for girlfriends who did the same thing.
Okay.
And what I always found interesting is you stand over the dudes going, "Don't touch," but then you go to the female-oriented events, and those girls have no limits. It's like whoa.
I did this party once. One of them that sticks out of my mind is was at these 5 Latinas. I'm dancing, and one of them just kept grabbing, like, it's like, this, it's a dick and balls, right? Like, you got to caress it and be a little nice, but no, they have no problem ripping your shorts down.
You are on the menu.
You are on the menu. And I thought to myself, like you were saying, if these gender roles were reversed and I was grabbing at a girl like that at a club, there's a pretty big chance I'm going to be tossed out the front door at a strip club, and a pretty big chance the party's going to be shut down if it's at a hotel suite.
I got a good one for you. Okay, this was I was working a party. It was probably the last one I did, maybe 10 years ago. It was a very an Arab couple that was getting married. Very conservative, supposedly a lot of money. And they had a whole show going. There were like 10 different entertainers there. And they brought me in to do a little BDSM show, which is one of my specialties. So I was wearing my heavy leather armored outfit. And this is normally a very conservative group, but this was a joint bachelorette party, which, if you know that culture,
yes,
those generally don't mix.
They don't. Every once in a while they do, but to do them together.
This was, yeah. And so I did my show with a female performer friend. Went nice, went very good. And the bachelorette came up to me and she was touching on my armor, and I'm looking over there at the soon-to-be husband, and he is not happy because she is drunk and she is feeling up my armor, and she wants to hit me with my own whip on the armor. I'm like, yeah, go ahead.
Letting loose, doing what a normal bachelorette.
Right. But at the same time, I'm looking over at this guy. I'm going, I really should go after this.
I did one of my last ones I did that actually worked out really well is I worked with a female entertainer. They had the group. It was a group. They were kids. They were probably 25, 30s. They had the one of the top floor suites at Palms Place.
This was the same, yeah.
Yeah, girl. They had a conjoint party, but it was great. The husband was all about it. He had the wife take the top off. The friends were having fun.
That's great.
It was one of the, but there's times like you were saying, I've physically been assaulted at parties before. I had a guy come and punch me in the face when I was dancing with one of his girlfriends once. The friends came in and intervened and had my back.
Right.
But still, usually those situations don't. You should keep
it's not a good sign for the relationship if he's beating up the male dancer.
Already? That's what I mean.
Honey, take this as a warning sign.
Right, exactly. You might be next.
Yeah, exactly. Actually.
So I noticed over the years, a lot of things change. We were talking about, just terms we can use, the way we shoot. With you being in the game, in front of the camera and behind the camera for over 20, 25 years, what are the things that you've seen that have changed for the better and have changed maybe for the worse?
For the better, I would say there's a lot of things for the better. It's become the corporatization of the industry has both been a blessing and a curse. In that, the sets are a lot more professional than they used to be. The old casting couch is pretty non-existent. Things are run very above board. Personally, I've always had a strong rule. It's like, if I've written you a check, I don't sleep with you. And there was a gray area there where I was still performing and I was producing. And so that made it difficult to where you had to really, okay, if we work together, that means I can't, that's, and there were a few choices had to be made.
Right.
But you got to stick to your rules and you got to stick to your guns. And I'm glad that the industry has gone in that direction.
To where the producers and people aren't sleeping with the talent.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm sure people still have relationships or talents hooking up, of course, things like that. But it's just the overall professionalism of the industry has gotten much, much better.
So you're saying it's more professional?
In general, just
way more
in many different ways.
So would you say maybe years ago, do you think it would be a little bit more dysfunctional than it is now? Just not as...
It's okay, but back then, the talent pool and the producers, directors, everybody, it was a much smaller pool, and everybody knew each other. So there was a certain amount of, back then, even though things were a little more freeballing, that everybody knew everybody. So you could always go to somebody. If somebody really got out of line, there was somebody you could go to handle it. Whereas now, there are still a few bad apples in the industry, and they seem to get away with it for far too long, and I don't understand that. But it's, whether it's male performers or female performers, I try to stick with hiring people that are going to come on set and be professional. Even if they really throw down and are their ultimate slutty self when the rest of the time is done. Their business
Show
professional.
up, be able to perform, do what's asked, be on time, and that's what Sir Thom Moore looks for. And if you can do that, the chances are you'll get a call back.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
You know, so just be clean, be professional.
One of the interesting things is because I shoot almost every genre, is that some people are like, "Well, don't you have another scene for me?" And I'm like, "Well, I shoot this many number of this each month and this many of each thing, so sometimes it takes me a while to get back to each person."
Yes, I mean, when I know you shoot a lot.
Right. Well, we shoot gay, trans, straight. So yeah.
What else is there?
Well, there's other genres I haven't shot. I've always wanted to shoot little people.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. It's just kind of a fascination. I think
Little midget porn. Let's
could be
fucking
fun.
go.
No, little people. Let's be nice.
Is that another term we can't say anymore?
Yeah, you're not supposed to say midget anymore.
All right.
I think if a midget says they're a midget, they can be a midget.
Okay. Now it's little people. We have little people performers, I guess, at our
Do you?
company.
Okay, cool.
That do the stripper parties, or they come in as like Santa's elves.
I understand it sells very well, but it's not. There is a really awesome male performer I know in the L.A. area that's a great little person. Anyway, but go ahead. Next.
Let's look at my notes here. No, you're one of the top camera guys, at least in my eyes. I mean, you're on a lot of scenes. A lot of big companies hire you, so I'm assuming you're a top camera guy. I mean, would you be called like a camera guy, producer, basically?
Producer, director, but I also shoot camera.
What makes a good sex scene? What makes a good adult film scene in your eyes? What makes it?
It really comes down to the performer. It's 90% the performer, but 10% of having a really good setup, letting the performer get to a point where they can actually let go and express in the moment. If it's for me, we'll go around and do all of the pictures prior. I like to script everything out. You block out the scene, what's going to happen. So even if you do have to give direction, once you get to the video, everybody knows what's expected, in what order, what you're going to be doing, so that they can relax and enjoy themselves for a moment. Good preparation leads to them to be able to relax.
Right. They know what's coming.
Right.
They have it planned out. We're going to shoot this. We're going to do this.
And maybe actually for once enjoy themselves.
Relax.
That makes a big difference.
I think that was my problem when I first met you. It was hard for me. It was a whole new environment. And I don't know what it was, because I've done bachelorette parties. I've done couples my whole life. I mean, I've never had a problem. With me, I think it was this is a personal thing. I wasn't in control. Usually at those parties, I'm in control. We're going at my pace.
Right.
When you step on a set, obviously you're not in control. You're just the talent. Do what's expected of you. Do what's told. And there's this there was a pressure of I better be good, rather than just have a good time, just be yourself. Because
I know.
we had some fun times on set. But I remember I couldn't do the pop one time, and you guys had to take a syringe and put it in my pee-pee hole.
We're very creative. There's lots of ways to fake that. I've seen.
For the record, my co-star had Hello Kitty painted on her nails, and we had to reshoot a bunch of stuff that day. And I could not. That was a 10-hour hard-on.
Adorable.
At the very end of the day, I couldn't feel anything. I remember I tried to give you a butt.
Now I don't have a lot of sympathy for that. I used to do 2 scenes a day, 5 days a week back in the day.
Damn. Stud muffin over here. There's no bullshit. You could do 2 scenes a day. You could pop twice a day.
There were a lot. Yeah, that was 5 days a week. I mean, you'd have some weeks that were less, but.
And this is pre-Viagra. This is pre-Trimex, correct? You're just all natural.
Yeah. I mean, I used a few pills here and there over the days we had. I used to call it bitch medicine. Where you'd walk on set and, your co-star is being a bitch, male or female. Doesn't matter. Anyone can be a bitch. And you can just see that they're going to be difficult. Excuse me, I'm going to go chew my pill.
Oh, exactly. Okay.
But I would try to get through the scene without anything.
Do you notice people are they more and more relying on it? And is it just normal these days to have some kind of pill or shot on set for the male performer?
Well, we're not going to have it on set for you. Anything that the performer has, they have to provide for themselves.
And that's totally good. If they bring it themselves, we're all okay.
If they bring it themselves, that's completely on them.
Right.
I think it is. It generationally, yeah, no, the guys didn't used to use that sort of thing all the time. The shot is very common now.
The shot, well, you're referring to Trimex, correct?
Yeah, well, there's also different kinds of it too. So it's evolved a great deal as well. Um, I have a very interesting story. I'm not sure it's good for your audience,
That's fine.
but
Everything's good.
I actually was exposed to it when it first was released. Doing it for a BDSM client who sought me out because I used to be a nurse. Anyway, but yeah, no, I don't. I just don't think that it's this is your best sex organ. If you're connecting this with what's going on in front of you, you're just fine. Um, you're supposed to be connecting with who you're working with, and if people rely on those things too much, sometimes you can see that they're not as connected as maybe they should be.
Right.
If you actually stop and my very first day on set, I walked on set and I remember seeing there was a bunch of dudes watching football in a room, all hanging out together, all the performers. This was back in the day when we would do what you call one day wonders, where they do 4 or 5 scenes in a day for shooting an entire movie in one day. But huge crews and multiple makeup artists and
the whole shebang, basically like a
everything in one day. But they would have a massive, house in the Hollywood Hills rented, so you really needed to do it in one day. But I remember walking on set and there's a bunch of guys watching football in one room, and then there's makeup artists and really hot chicks over there, and hot people over there. And I'm going, where do I want to hang out? First of all, I always played sports, but I'm not one for watching it. So I want to go be with the hot chicks. And the sets are always kind of seem to be like that for some reason. I never understood. I always wanted to go hang out with the people that I was going to work with and spend time talking to them, get to know them a little better.
Get a vibe. Just get a feel for your co-star.
Exactly. Going, coming from the BDSM world in my personal life, the whole point was to have a consent talk, which is now required on most sets. But it's the kind of thing that I always did. You always go to the performer. What do you like? What do you not like? What makes you happy?
So now I'm going to interrupt because ever since I've done a handful of mainstream stuff. Every time there's always been like a talk about a safe word, a safe sign.
Right.
You go through the talk. So you're saying
that's
back
relatively
in the day,
new.
Okay, that wasn't a thing.
That's relatively new for it to be required.
Okay, but you just because of who you are as a person, Tom, you would just like to do that just with your co-stars before. Say, hey.
I mean, that's what I was taught early on. I mean, also having been a nurse, and
you're being a gentleman.
Right. Well, you should talk to your partner. You should discuss with your partner. Take 2 seconds to have a conversation, and it will pay off in the end, and everybody's much happier.
Right. I agree with that. Just be a gentleman. Even before the talks, the few times I've worked with people on set, I've taken the time to just have a 5-10 minute conversation. Just fill the person out. Just let them know, hey, if there's anything you're uncomfortable with, just let me know.
Hi, we're gonna be fucking today. How are you?
How you doing? No, yeah, right, exactly. But it's just a polite thing to do, I think. Rather than you got to have some kind of, with me anyway, it's nice to have some kind of bond. It doesn't have to be anything intimate or crazy, but just some kind of connection. So when we're working together, it's not just like,
right.
I mean, I can't. I mean, I would hate the fact that this girl doesn't even want me fucking her. She's just doing it for the money. I mean, I don't know. That would be, again, that would get in my head, and I think that this head would tell this head, this ain't working, and then that's a disaster for the set. You got to bring in the backup.
Well, everybody's there for the money. Otherwise we'd be at home and doing ourselves or our significant others.
That's true.
But also working with somebody that is really professional as well, so that they realize that, hey, we're here. Let's have a good time, even though we're here for a job.
That's true.
I'd rather work with a great professional than somebody who's the hottest new talent.
What you were saying, as far as you'd rather work with someone who's decent to work with besides some big name. I mean, we're not going to sing on any names. But you got a big name that is maybe going to be a pain in the ass, or maybe you got a no name but is going to show up and do the job. You'd rather go with the no name.
Sure.
So with that said, have you had anything really drastically wrong that's happened on set that you can't that just ruins the day that you can't
Oh,
make up for?
sure. I've definitely worked with big name talent that they try to bully you on set. They try to get away with thinking that they run the show, and it's like, this really is going to be my way. I'm of course going to take into account anything that your discomfort, your needs, your desires, but there's one person directing on set, and that's just the way it is.
That's true.
Um,
Can't have enough. What do they call it? Too many.
And sometimes people are just having too much of a good time. Sometimes people are having such a good time, you have to rein it in a little bit too. So it can be both directions. I'd rather have the latter one though.
Right. So when you get these big names that come in, that's one thing I have an opinion on. So I'm all about capitalism. I'm all about United States. I love America. I love this place. I love the fact with the birth of OnlyFans, how the studio work's getting bigger. I like the fact that sex workers can become entrepreneurs. You can make big money. You can make real money doing this. But what I hate about that aspect is you get these people with inflated egos. And this is just my personal opinion. The thoughts and views of Real Vegas Podcast don't necessarily reflect the thoughts and views of Thom Moore. But I hate the inflated egos. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, you don't have any fucking talent. You're basically a prostitute on camera. That's the way I look at it, which is fine. I'm good with that. But the sex worker on camera, you're basically just getting fucked on camera. Let's just bottom line. You have no real talent. I hate the egos that comes with some of these. They call themselves stars. It's like,
yeah, okay. There have been stars in the industry, and yeah, if you have to, the thing is the ones who are truly the stars don't walk around with attitudes like that.
They don't. And one guy that I brought him up in a different interview. I looked up to him when I was a young man just because he was the guy banging all the chicks. Was Tommy Gunn. I don't know if you know Tommy.
Which one? But I've known both.
The real Tommy Gunn. The one that was on Entourage. The Tommy Gunn.
The original one with the long blonde hair?
No. Goatee black hair guy. Beard black hair guy.
That's the second one.
Okay, so there's two Tommy Gunns out there?
There were. Yeah, there was an original Tommy Gunn and then the newer Tommy Gunn, who's a great guy too.
Yeah, right.
They were both actually very nice guys.
My point that was my point with Tommy. You think you see him you'd see him in every fucking magazine, every movie. I'd always sound like, there's that fucking guy again.
He's very, very nice.
That's what I mean. I met him at a industry party thing a few weeks ago or a few months ago, and just a super fucking like.
He's very down to earth. He's got a bunch of crazy cool skills.
Yeah, man.
You ever seen he's made that, what is his apocalyptic truck or whatever he calls it? I forget. It's he's got some skills on it.
No attitude.
No, not at all.
No ego. Just a cool, down to earth fucking dude.
Totally. Yeah, and he's been doing it for a while. It's funny. I actually saw him recently post on the Twatter. I refuse to call it X. He posted how long you've been at it, and it was like, boy, I thought you'd been longer than that. But it was that just tells you how old I am.
He had when we talked, he had a nightmare Trimex story to where he had taken the shot and then it didn't really work, so then he took another one and then he had to go to the hospital. So
priapism, yes.
Yeah, whatever it's say. He had to go to the hospital. I guess they have to drain your blood or something.
Mm-hmm. I'm a huge sadist. I'll do it for you. Just come over here.
Oh, jeez. So when I was saying, like, again, I respect America. I love the fact that it's a very capitalistic country. I love the fact that we are free to make our own decisions. With that said, do you think, I know what you mean. There's always going to be laws that we have to obey. We're not completely anarchy free. But my point being, with OnlyFans, with the birth of that and people being able to become their own creators, their own producers, their own directors, do you think that's hurting the business or do you think it's making it better?
I think it's forcing the industry to evolve. Having been doing this for 30 years, I've watched the industry evolve over time. And it's the people who are at the head of the evolution are the ones that stay in the game and the ones that refuse to. There's a whole bunch of companies that were around that just never evolved from having a web presence and never made it from VHS to DVD or DVD to and there were even producers before my time that couldn't make it from, because you remember there used to be the old school dirty theaters. They don't have those anymore.
Oh, right. You're talking about like old school New York.
Old school New York dirty theaters, San Francisco.
Pee Wee Herman got caught in one of those.
Yeah, but you know what? There was nothing so fun as going with a date to a dirty theater. Yeah, and it was great fun. Come on.
Sir Thom Moore, you're telling me there's been times where you've gone on dates to the dirty theater?
Oh, God, yeah. Hell yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. It's you watch so-and-so, like everybody's furtively looking to see what everyone else is doing.
So when I first moved here, I think they've torn it down. I'm not sure. They used to have the peep show here. I remember I got drunk one time where you would you go into the booth and you put the dollar in and the screen unfogs and you have the live dancers that'll come up to your to show you their asshole for $1. Those are great times.
There was a really good one in San Diego. But yeah, I guess they've had those everywhere.
They call them arcades now.
Arcades, right. I remember going to ones when I was in the Marine Corps that were, you're poor, you're a Marine, where they had them on the Super 8mm loops.
Okay.
So you would only play so long and then have to roll back.
Speaking of adult stuff, you said a thing, 8mm. You ever see that with Nicolas Cage?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, it's a movie about he's a private detective. This rich woman's husband dies, and in his vault they find a snuff film where it looks like a girl's really being killed on camera. So she hires him to go investigate, and it's a deep down into the porn world in LA of him trying to figure out who's making this snuff video. So if you've never seen it,
I had no idea that it had that storyline.
Yeah, great movie.
The Fluffer is a really good one to watch.
The Fluffer, actually, that's one I haven't heard of.
Yeah, it was mostly about gay porn. She's in it, of course. But it was a very real look at gay porn in the 90s with a guy who was supposedly gay for pay. There's no such thing.
So in your opinion, I've heard the term gay for pay.
Yeah, if you're sucking a dick, you're sucking a dick. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's gay.
Then there's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it, but you're saying the whole gay for pay thing, you kind of...
I don't really, over the years, I've met so many guys who say, "Oh, I'm only gay for pay," and then you run into them at a party somewhere, and they're sucking dick, and you're like, "Really? Cool, man. Whatever." It just is. It's extremely common. I was hanging out with some old school gay porn or old school porn stars that were making me look young a couple weeks ago, and they were going like, "Oh, back in the day, everybody did everything and no one gave a shit." It really wasn't until like the 90s and 2000 that like crossover stars became a bad thing. And then nowadays it seems to be we're getting over that. There's a lot of male performers that are working in all genres.
You're talking about crossover, so straight, gay, trans. Yeah. You consider trans gay?
It's not straight.
Yeah, right. I would say the same thing. It's you get these.
I don't care what it is. It's if you find that person attractive, awesome.
Right. I'm the same way.
I just don't. It doesn't matter.
I've always been open and honest about what I'm into, and you're attracted to what you're attracted to.
I was twisted from early on, so I liked a bit of everything.
You've learned to embrace your craziness and your madness and your sickness.
I tried everything from a very early on. But I had pretty much done a bit of everybody before I even got into porn. So
you've always been. You would say you've always been just maybe highly. You've had a really
just
good
highly sexed. Yes,
highly sexed up guy. Can we catch you in front of the camera anymore these days, or strictly behind?
I don't know. I like to joke and say I'll make a comeback and start doing dirty, stepdad and uncle porn or something like that.
Dude, you should maybe do like a bad Santa, but call it Dirty Santa.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Do Dirty Santa. And
Dirty Santa.
Girl sits on your lap. Have like
I actually played Santa once. I did
have the dirty
Santa.
Beard hanging out like.
I don't want to be dirty though. Dirty inside, not outside.
Okay, clean Santa.
Clean.
Maybe and you said you've always wanted to work with midgets. I'm sorry, you've always wanted to work with little people.
Yeah.
So maybe you could do Santa and he bangs his elves.
Santa bangs his elves.
That'd be great.
Anything weird, I'm
maybe
down
some
for.
granny porn in there. Get Mrs. Claus walks in. We make it a grand old time. I'd watch it. I'd buy that for $1.
I felt so bad for a trans woman I worked with years ago. It was a really attractive, but more like a MILF aged trans woman. Very attractive. Didn't really do porn. Only agreed to do this one because she was working with me and we were friends. She had a professional daytime job, and they billed the scene as my granny is a tranny or something like that. I felt so bad for her.
My granny is a tranny.
Attractive 40-something trans woman.
That's definitely not granny age.
No, I felt horrible for her. And she felt terrible. I was like, boy, she did not agree to that.
Granny, tranny.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. I'd watch it. I'd buy that for $1.
She was very attractive. She was a very attractive professional woman.
There's probably some pretty outrageous, derogatory porn titles out there.
Yeah, well, that's something I think that has kind of gone by the wayside. Not as much more so because of the censorship brought by Visa MasterCard. You know, it's not really the. I mean, we're on kind of a conservative bend politically currently, but it's Visa MasterCard that.
Oh, I was looking at your mic. It's
Okay,
right.
am I falling?
No, you're good.
Okay.
I'm just looking for the green light.
No, it's Visa MasterCard that causes all of the, and they really have a monopoly on.
So you're saying Visa, MasterCard have certain regulations, so you can't.
Yeah, they're the ones that are so restrictive on everybody these days, because you can't sell your product without billing, and they are to me they're the bad guys. They're the ones that are restricting freedom of expression and free speech.
And I'm all for that. I mean, and again,
as long as it's consensual.
That's what I was about to say. As long as you have all the consensual adults, it's supposed to be a free country, freedom of speech. But it's like you said, they have a monopoly. You're saying Visa, MasterCard has a monopoly on what you can and can't basically say in your videos.
Absolutely.
You know, that's unfortunate because I miss those old days of tranny granny and.
Well, at least the ability to do whatever excited you, as long as it was within the taste of. Well, it was like when the feds used to really come after everybody back in the day. They would order a DVD to Kansas and then try you in Kansas, because most of the laws are based on community standard. So yes, in Kansas,
but it was shot in L.A.
Right. Well, but of course, porn sells best in the Bible Belt to begin with. So
God hates spags. Remember that guy? He probably the cowboy guy with the Westboro Baptist Church. He'd always be saying that. Something tells me those guys are the ones, in my opinion.
No, yeah, those are the ones that get caught doing weird shit.
The weird shit, and just like you were saying, there's nothing wrong with being yourself. I don't know why these people feel so suppressed, and they have that.
Especially when your own religion. I'm not religious, but the religion they choose to profess says, "Judge not, lest thee be judged."
Tell me about it, man.
So you're not following your own tenets to begin with.
Now, going around the fear-mongering and protesting people and telling people how they should live their lives, especially consenting adults, it's just it's never a good thing. Another question for you, and this is because how things have changed over the years. Say you got a young man watching this and wants to get into the adult entertainment industry and work for movies. How would one go about that? And would you recommend it?
A young man.
An adult, a young adult man.
Young adult man. But it has to be a man, right?
Well, at least 18.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm just curious as from a young man's perspective, because I know, girls can just lay on their back and show their assholes and pussies and they'll get hired. The man actually has to perform. So, like, what advice would you give for, like, a young man?
Look at the guys on camera. Make sure your body is at least in that kind of shape. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be fit. And if for no other reason than the positions I'm going to try and tell you to do are stressful and ridiculous. And when you fuck your girlfriend for 12 minutes at home and you think you were the big stud, no. I'm going to make you fuck for quite some time.
That's true.
And in positions that are not, on a box behind a stage and
I was about to bring up the spots. I'm sitting there going, God, oh man, I had to go cut. Whatever my thing was, I go cut.
You're doing a squat in a position, and when I used to warm up, I would go find a quiet spot off set somewhere, and I would stretch out and do yoga before you do a scene, just so you avoid hurting yourself.
That's hilarious. You remember the box. That damn
I
box.
remember damn near everything.
That damn box, man. I do remember squatting in that box. I'd be going like, man.
My favorite thing to do, though, is, I'm 53. I don't care. But is when you go, you can't do that. There's no way I can fuck like that. And I'll say, excuse me.
Step aside, little boy.
Do you mind if I show them how to do this? Okay, thank you. I won't penetrate, of course, but I can sit down there, get in the position, show them exactly how to do it, and do it effortlessly, and say, see, you can do it.
You can do this.
Just do it like this.
So basically, just at least you don't have to be a super ripped.
If I can do it, you can do it.
Exactly. Going back to the question, so basically, you don't have to be, Muscle Man and Mr. Muscle Man in fitness, but be in shape. Be fit. Do you think you have to be well endowed? Are you looking for a certain size for a male performer?
I would say if you're a minimum 7 inches. I have seen guys with smaller dicks that open up so well that they look better than some guys with 9 inches.
I say I barely made the cut. I'm about 7.5. So, woo!
But really, it comes down to, again, that body mechanics that shows off everything. That, just tilting that little extra angle. I always say, fuck like an Egyptian, because you're going more sideways than you are, and that's how you can see everything so well.
Because this is not fucking your girlfriend for 12 minutes.
No.
This is a production. We have to see angles. We have to make it sexy, basically.
My last ex, she was a total professional, not in the industry at all, mainstream job. And but she liked that I had my career. And it was funny, one time I remember we're fucking at her house, we're just fucking at home, and she looked up back at me and she goes, "Who are you opening up for?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I just did it so long for you that way.
That's hilarious. Thom, I really appreciate you inviting me into your home.
No problem.
This has been a great interview. I mean, I've had a lot of fun talking with you. How would somebody find you on? Are you on Instagram? Are you on X? I'm sorry, you refuse
Twitter.
Are you on Twitter or Instagram?
Yeah, both of them are at Sir Thom Moore.
At Sir Thom Moore.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?
Stay in school.
Stay in school and stay off drugs. I'm always an advocate of staying off drugs.
Stay in school. I have a degree, but I don't use it. But it's still good to have one.
You don't. Oh, you were a nurse.
Yeah.
You don't use it.
No.
So stay in school.
I put myself through school doing porn.
That's great. Well, guys.
And then stuck with it.
I appreciate you tuning in. I'm Tyler Made. This is Real Vegas Podcast. You can find us at Real Vegas Podcast and at The Tyler Made on X, Instagram, YouTube. We have new episodes coming out this fall. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day, guys. Thanks, Thom. And boom.
Thank you for watching Real Vegas Podcast. Real people and real conversations. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.